Lesson 2, Input, Output, and Processing, is already posted in Lesson 2 from last semester. So this will be posted in there as well, a link to it. I just put it out there on YouTube. You can subscribe to my channel. You can find it in there, and I've got lots of videos in there from other classes and stuff. Most of it is all public kind of videos. So run through this. Concept is about computers. It's touched on in Lesson 1, you know, as the whole overview of computing in general. So now we're looking at specialized devices and output devices, input, and performance factors, which we touched on a little bit Tuesday as well. When we're talking about input devices, one of the basic ones that's made it possible for us to communicate using a computer is the modem, okay, where computers can talk to one another. Does anybody know what modem stands for? It's not a French word or anything, or Latin or Greek or anything kind of generated word. Anybody know what modem means? Okay, time's up. Modulate, demodulate. Okay, so it's basically taking digital signal from the computer, converting it into an analog signal that goes out over the wires. Okay, the twisted pair telephone wire. Okay, digital, remember, is pulses, on and off, plus 5 volts, minus 5 volts, and that's what the computer uses as a language, the binary language, 0 and 1, plus and minus. Hate to use that, but plus 5, minus 5 volt. That's all it breaks it down to. All the information you do and data you do and your clicks and your keyboard operation, it's all converted into pulses, binary code. And then to be able to go over the telephone wires and the wiring system that we have, it will turn it into analog. Now, more prevalent today, there's a whole lot more of digital transmission going on than analog, with fiber optic lines and wireless communication that is now digital. Okay? A keyboard, kind of know what that thing is an input device. Keyboards come in many different forms now. Does anybody use the one that they're showing here by any chance? Seen anybody use them? It actually projects the keyboard image onto a surface, and you can, it's not very ergonomic, you know, because it's a flat surface, but so is an iPad keyboard, but it actually just projects it down onto a surface, and you can have a keyboard anywhere and not have to lug one around. They're doing this technology in some restaurants. I don't think any locally, but there are some restaurants that have their menu projected onto the table using this device, and then you can choose what you want. You can order that way. Okay, of course, pointing device, which would be your mouse, and they mainly are just optical mouses now, Mises, and you know, instead of having an actual physical mechanical ball or something inside of it to transfer the movement, or they'll use radio frequency. That's even less. A foldable mouse. I really have never seen a foldable mouse. Most of them nowadays are wireless as far as the way they hook up to your computer, and they use the optomechanical or optical method, and that's what all these are. If you turn it upside down and look at it, uses a LED and compares it bounces the LED signal off of the surface back into a receiver and calculates the difference in movement, the difference in actual surface area. Of course, the notepad or laptops will have just a little pad on the laptop itself, to use your finger with it. Of course, monitors, CRT, it's showing there on the left. Well, you can't really buy any of those anymore. I don't know anywhere that sells them. Maybe find them on eBay. I have one back there. So they're pretty much non-existent. And then all types of flat panels. The one that's not mentioned is probably more common now, and that's what this one is. Yours is LCD, but LED type of monitors are very light, thin, use almost no power, are very, very prevalent nowadays. Printers, inkjet and laser is your common. Speakers would be an output device. An input device such as a digital camera of all different descriptions now, from your smartphone that you can connect to your computer to actual cameras for your webcam, and they come in tons of different shapes and sizes. And like this one here is a robot webcam. It actually has a sensor in it. When I have it turned on, it'll actually follow me. It'll twist and turn and keep about an angle like this. It'll follow me. So it's pretty cool. Game controllers of all descriptions would be an input, of course. And some of it is output. You get feedback information. I think the Wii does that some. Then scanners and barcode readers. Scanners have just become, they're everywhere. We don't even think about it, but all the stores use it for barcode. Then there's magnetic scanners for entrance into rooms, magnetic stripe on your credit card, wireless scanners. Then optical character recognition, part of scanners, built into a printer or copier scanner. Actually take a typed, or in some cases a handwritten page, and turned it into actual Word document or a text that you can actually edit and use in a document, actually convert it. Touch displays become just a common part of our life, hasn't it? Another specialized type of device would be a stylus. Anybody use a stylus with their pad or anything? Yeah. Oh, hello.
I got a note.
Oh, okay. And for the iPad or the Apple products, it's not too good because just the way the screen technology is with Apple products. You have to use those really blunt rounded ended stylus. Doesn't work all that well. It's not too bad for drawing art kind of stuff. It's not real bad for that, you can live with it, but if you do anything really detailed, it's kind of annoying to use. I've tried, and I'd just rather use my finger. It's about the same difference.
Samsung's works really well.
What's that?
Samsung's works really
Yeah,
well.
Samsung, they've got it down. They've got a sharper stylus. Is that what that is? Yeah. So, yeah,
Like a pen.
I'm at a point to where I can, I'm out of contract on my smartphone, so I'm just thinking about going that direction. But I don't know. Environmental probes and sensors. Okay. temperature and humidity, that kind of thing. The smoke detector readings, all kinds of sensors can be input devices. Out in the industry, there's just a plethora of them. I mean, just every kind of physical characteristic you can think of can be sensed and fed into a computer or your smartphone. Of course, then there's the infamous remote controls. That is an input device. Biometrics keeps hanging out there as a authentication technique. It keeps showing up. They keep saying, you know, all the techie blogs and, you know, consumer electronic organizations and so forth, they keep saying that's the way it's going to go. Somebody's going to figure it out and hit right, and it's going to become part of computing, and you won't have to have passwords anymore. That's what they're after. I mean, there's a little bit of that out there. There's the fingerprint or thumbprint, what's on the smartphone. I don't know how that's working. Does anybody have that on their smartphone? Where you just touch it, it reads your thumbprint? Does it work? You don't use it? Oh, okay.
Apple's and Samsung's works really well. Apple's works the best though.
Oh, okay.
It does.
Oh, okay. I've never used it. My iPhone's like, you know, one of the first. It's a 4. So.
One of my friends has one, and he's even gave it to him. But put your thumb on there.
You won't.
You can't operate somebody else's cell phone without something.
Oh, okay. So put it on all the computers. Is what I'm saying, and have it matched up. You have to at one time put your password in, I guess, and then match it with your thumbprint. Then you won't have to do all this password crap.
It's pretty good. Like
Oops.
within a second, you're logged in.
And what we showed earlier, oh yeah, you know, there's some apps, you know, that project a keyboard, so you could have a. I just think that would be really weird to operate, being a flat surface. But yeah, virtual devices, light emitting and sensing devices. Of course, all kinds of touch-sensitive pads. Output devices, numerous types of projectors, fax machines. I can't believe I have to list that and talk about that, but fax machines are still used occasionally. There are some things that the scanned PDF file or a scanned document, they still won't accept it. They want it as a fax. So they're out there. And multifunction printers have become commonplace. That's pretty much what everybody wants and buys. It'll print, scan, and copy. Specialized printers for certain operations, for different products. The thermal printer, like you see in the restaurants, for receipts and so forth, is pretty common, mainly because they don't have to worry about loading ink or anything ever. Then there's mobile printers. You can put in your laptop bag and actually do some printing with that. Label and postage, plotters, like I have in the back of the room back there. The large inkjet printer, it's large format, so we can do, and I have one up here. That was given to me by Atmos Energy. It's about a $8,000 or $9,000 printer, believe it or not. But it'll do up to a 3-foot wide sheet. Then there's all kinds of printers that do actual cutting. You know, it actually does a cutting operation and does the vinyl cutting. Then they have made it possible, and it's all in all Windows operating systems. I'm pretty sure it's also in the Mac operating system as well. So you can add screen magnifier or screen reader, voice synthesizer for physically challenged users. They haven't figured out anything for mentally challenged. Ports and connectors, a port also called a jack. So interface for all these peripheral devices, and they come in several different types. And if you go back further in time, if you get an older computer, you'll see some ports and stuff on there that really aren't used anymore. But the universal serial bus can connect up to 127 devices. Okay, so yeah, you can just daisy chain them together, or you can buy a router where you can connect all kinds of devices to your computer. So it's been a real simplifier for the use of the computer. Plug and play is commonplace now. I mean, you know, it used to be a nightmare. Anytime you wanted to add a printer or any kind of device to the computer, you had to do a lot of setup and programming yourself. Now, plug it in, it senses who it is, what it is, and sets it up for you. Another type of external bus that you don't see too many products using it, it's called the FireWire, and you get into the higher end input devices, certain types of scanners and so forth will use that. So it's a very high speed. It can only handle up to 63 devices. Then there are special purpose ports that you might run across. The SCSI, SCSI, and basically that's a type of port. And that old printer back there, our scanner, that big white object next to the old gateway computer, uses a SCSI interface, and it's a really wide data highway. It's not super fast, but it handles a whole lot of data at one time. So it's like going from the Owensboro bypass to one of those highways in Chicago that's 16 lanes wide. Okay? So there's a whole bunch more traffic. Everybody's going at the same speed, but there's a whole bunch more. So it's able to take a lot of data at once and makes a very fast scanning possible. Even on that old scanner back there, I can scan a 3-foot by 4-foot sheet in probably 10 seconds. Run it right through, and that thing is probably 12 years old, and but you know, it works. So IRDA, okay, infrared is a type of port that's not used very much anymore, but you may run across those. And of course, Bluetooth came on the scene about 10 years ago, and is very, very beneficial. Your smartphone can connect up. They use the Bluetooth communicator. It's a little teeny tiny chip. You can't believe how small these little communication chips are, smaller than a dime, and they embed those in electronics. And so like they have them in kitchen appliances where they can communicate with one another. Of course, with speakers, with just all kinds of different technology can communicate using this Bluetooth. And it's a short range. It's about 30-foot range.
Cars.
Oh yeah, and your cars, you know, Bluetooth that, your car smartphone hook up to your car stereo system. So, pretty amazing invention. Most hardware devices, to get them to work, they'll have to have a set of instructions, okay, and that's called a driver. How many of you have had a computer, you know, upchuck on you and say, driver's bad, needed this driver, you know, need to update the driver? So that's what they are. It's a set of instructions that shakes hands or communicates between your computer and the hardware. So performance factors, we talked about this last time, but the higher the generation, the faster and better the processing speed. So when you're talking about generation, you're talking about a microchip or your CPU that's in the Intel, you know, they're talking about P1, 2, 3, and 4, P5, I1, I5, so forth. You'll see that's the generation number. So you can always depend on the chip being faster, the microprocessor being faster, the higher the number that it is. They're constantly trying to make the speeds faster. The speed is in hertz, 1.3 gigahertz, billion hertz. A hertz is a cycle per second. So it's doing like a 2.4, I think this is a 2.4 gigahertz computer and that we use in the lab. So that's 2.4 billion cycles a second. That's moving really fast. Okay? Compared to 8 megahertz is what we kind of started with when we had personal computers first come out. You have RAM and your speed of your RAM. They keep making that faster. I think they've reached a point now to where they can't make them work any faster. They'll catch on fire. Your gaming systems that have run at the higher speeds. A lot of those there are separate cooling systems in it. They actually have, some of them are nitrogen cooled. Some of them actually have antifreeze radiators running through it, and actually have a radiator sitting off to the side with fans in it, and they run the cooling coils through it to keep the computer from really overheating, catching on fire. Your hard disk is bigger and faster than the hard drive. I really don't understand that statement. I need to fix that. The bigger and faster the hard drive. Okay, I just misread it. The faster it can process data. Well, okay. That's a tautology. You can look that word up. The bigger and faster the hard drive, the faster it can process data. Well, yeah. The faster I run out the door, the quicker I am out the door. Anyway, some weird logic going on there. So basically hard drives, you want to look for the higher cycle speeds on those. You need a video card or video specification that will match the software that you're using. So if you're doing high-end design graphics, even higher end than what you're going to do with CAD in here, renderings and photo renderings and all types of virtual reality kind of walkthroughs, you need the higher memory, the higher speed video cards. Put a new video card in this computer up here that eventually I'm going to put them in all the systems, testing it out. And it has its own microchip processor and has its own cooling fan. So, input devices enable you to input data and commands. Other types of devices: trackball, pointing stick, touch display, stylus, voice recognition, touchpad, digital camera, video camera, and then biometric scanning. Monitors and printers are your basic output devices. When you select a printer, we include speed, print quality, and the cost. Input and output devices must be connected to the computer. Really. Some input and output devices communicate with a physical connection, a cord, and others use a wireless. Peripheral devices use the USB port as a rule nowadays. Really don't use the old serial bus or the parallel port, even if you can find a computer with it on it. Firewire is another type of connector, as is SCSI, infrared or IRTA, and Bluetooth. So you're going to see Bluetooth as special purpose ports. Well, those are becoming pretty standard now on most of your notebooks and laptops. So when you check a computer's performance, you're looking for the speed of the processor and the amount of RAM and how large your storage is. Okay, any questions about any of those topics?